when they do get back to the home of world darts to watch the darts, there'll be even more players participating, as WDF announcing that the men's field will be 48, up from the 40 that the BDO had in their last World Championship. Ladies field up to 24 from 16, and the youth event will start at the semi-final stages on this big stage, not just the final, over the 9 days at the beginning of January. But considering it's still just 9 days and there's going to have to be an additional, I guess, 18 matches now, is that too many games to fit into just a short amount of time?
Yeah, I think this is probably something that not many people have touched on really, and quite rightly, the news that the WDF are going to have a World Championship next year and it is going to be at the Lakeside, that did dominate the headlines. But beyond that, extending the field, if you like, for the men's, the ladies and the youth on stage, that is something that is worth talking about. And we've got to mention that the number of days that this event is going to be played over is the same as it was before under the BDO. It is still going to be the 9 days, and to fit in an extra 18 games, it's going to be interesting to see how they pull it off, because the WDF, surely they would have looked at, before increasing the field, how they were going to fit it into the schedule. And I'm sure they have got a schedule in place, just not released yet. But how are they going to do it? Are they going to look to maybe put on an extra session on that Sunday, the second Sunday, and have a finals day and have a afternoon session with the ladies and the youth final, and then the evening session with the men's final? That might be one way of fitting in an extra couple of games. But I think you're probably looking at a shorter format, especially for the men's event, which has been best of 13 sets, matches up with the PDC World Championship for a long time, best of 11 sets for the semi-final. I think you'll probably see that format come down a little bit. The ladies, we've always been advocates of that format going up rather than down, and we've seen the final go up to a best of 5, which hopefully we'll see that stay. But it's going to be difficult to fit all these games in, and will they even stick with the sets? Will they maybe go to a leg play format instead of the sets? That's something that's still yet to be decided or determined. So lots of questions to be answered, and we are hopeful of getting Bill Hatter, the WDF president, on the show very soon to have a chat about all things WDF. Just looking at the rankings as well, I wanted to touch on them. They're going to keep all the ranking points from 2020, those first couple of months, held over into this race to get to the Lakeside. So you've got Martin Adams in 8th spot. Are we going to see him get back to the Lakeside again? Fallon Sherrick, who missed out on the last BDO World Championship, she's high up in the rankings. Could be a chance for her to finally become a world champion in darts. So lots of different subplots we're going to be following over the next 6 months. But yeah, one of the big questions is, how are they going to fit all these games in?
Yeah, and that's, that brings up what I alluded to in the first question, and that's that we still don't know a lot, and that's going to help determine whether this will succeed. We don't know, most importantly, we don't know the prize fund, and I think that's smart. I think you don't want to announce that until you are sure that you're able to meet whatever that prize fund you announced it is. You mentioned Fallon Sherrick missing out on the last World Championship. That was by her choice when the prize fund got significantly slashed at the last moment. Other players thought about pulling out, but decided to participate. She decided not to, and that was her right, especially after she became a household name with her brilliant run in the PDC World Championship, knocking off 2 players and running Chris Dobie tight in the third round. So she didn't need to go and play for a drastically reduced prize fund, and she didn't. WDF is going to make sure that, hopefully will make sure that whatever the prize fund is, it's known well in advance by all the competitors, and that they can and will pay out whatever is announced. But we also don't know the format, and that will help decide whether this can be done over 9 days. There is that possibility that you mentioned that, if it is the same length, you're going to have to squeeze in 18 additional matches into 9 days. That's in essence 2 matches a day, or a little over 1 match per session, because historically there's only been 1 session on the Sunday. Usually it's just one. Sometimes it's been 1 long session on a Saturday, sometimes 2. It can be done if you want to keep it at the same length, but I think what you said there would be right, where you'd have to have all the finals, have the youth and ladies final in the early session and have the men's final in the afternoon session, and then have all the semifinals on the Saturday and go from there. And that will give you the time to work those matches in, especially if you go to a shorter format for that first round, kind of like the PDC used to do for the preliminary round, best of 3. If you're doing that for the first round of 48 in the men's, I should say, the ladies with the round of 24 will probably already be best of 3. It can be done. If not, you'll have to go to a shorter format or add in leg play, but that's all to be determined. And I think we'll get more clarity, hopefully, from the president of the WDF in the coming days if he comes on the show, but if not, from the WDF once they have worked out those logistics. I think they'll do whatever makes sense. They'll have to. But whether it's too many games to fit in, no. But you'll have to make adjustments, whether that is a shorter format or whether that is completely reconceptualizing the fixture list. Something will have to be done. We'll see what that is.